Well, hello everyone. We have made it to the last Monday of 2020. I cannot believe we are here, December 28th, 2020, our last episode of season 2 of Dream Do Done, your accountability podcast. We're excited to have you here. We're excited that we've shared 2 years with you, where you've seen some of our behind the scenes. I think that's the next round of our show. The uncut and unedited Dream Do Done. And we have laughed together. We've even shed a few tears with the things that we have witnessed and we've seen. But we wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for you all being here, viewing, participating, adding your value to the conversation as we grow together through this thing called life. So welcome to the show. I am the Chief Faithpreneur, Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant. We have the how-to coach, Tamara Hartley, and the pulpit chick, Serena Brown Travis. I'm going to turn it over to my two co-hosts so they can greet you as well, as I'm still processing. It's the last Monday in the year.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. I just want to say hello, everyone. Welcome to the last Monday-ish of the year. one-ish of the year. We were laughing because we just want to come in full fashion and show up at one-ish like you all expect. So I'm happy to be here. It's been a great week. I enjoyed the holiday. Hope you did too. Looking forward to 2021. And I'm ready for this conversation today.
Indeed. Well, listen, it's always good to be with my sister friends. And of course, I had a wonderful holiday. And it's good to be with you. So like Tamara said, it's so excited to jump into today's topic. It is our last Monday of the year, which is unbelievable. I almost feel like singing, never would have made it, but I won't. I won't. But that's how I feel. I'm so grateful to be here and to be with you all today.
Absolutely. Like, that song is a whole word right there. Never would have made it.
Like, Serena, you shouldn't even open up that can. And we are going to have you sing, because someone told me a couple of weeks ago that Serena has like perfect pitch.
So she's been hiding out
on the show.
Yeah, somebody been running their mouth. And I know exactly who it was too. Wait until we get off this podcast.
You can't hold out.
All this talent on the phone. You know what I mean? All this talent.
Listen, I don't want no call on Friday night, Saturday night.
Well, hello, Tracy. Hello, Rhonda. Thank you all for tuning in. We're cutting up as usual at the top of the show. But Serena, you cannot hold out on us. We're going to have you debut, as the kids would say, you're going to have to spit a couple of bars.
Well, it won't be today.
Not today.
At
some point. But in the new year, let that be the new year gift, right? That you're going to go ahead and share with us and have us hear your beautiful voice. So I did hear a piece of it already. So I already know it's true.
I heard a little bit. I think when I heard your initial sermon, I heard a little bit, but
No. My daughter stepped in the room because it looked like somebody been using my iPad and then everybody charged it back up. So this is a real mommy moment.
No worries. We'll give you a second to go ahead and take care of that, and we'll have you back on. There you go. No problem.
Yeah, she still had her night clothes on, But don't you just love opening your computer and you've charged it and then you see 16%? You're like, you know what? I don't know who used my computer, but bring my charger now.
Okay. All the lovely little notes we send our children via text where we can't scream. But that's what you get when you have a podcast filled with 3 moms and wives and business owners. Like, that's just the thing. My husband had the nerve, sidebar, before we get into the lessons learned in 2020, which is our topic for today. So those of you that are listening in, we'll definitely ask you to share in that as well. But I was doing a recording for a client, and my sons, notorious for always forgetting when recordings are going on. So my husband is editing the video, and in the middle of the video, I'm like, I'm broadcasting. And he took the clip from the video and he sent it. Oh, this is what happens when your mom's a celebrity. He sent it to the boys. I'm like, really? Really? You're supposed to be on my side. And now they have bribery tools to use.
Right. I can see got dramatic about it too. I mean,
But
just like,
wait, but wait, you can see it like I'm Robin. So today, because that's so me. So back to professionalism.
And that's exactly what happened. After I screamed it, then I went right back into presentation mode. But that's the joys of 2020. Everyone has had to extend grace, right? Because kids are running amok on distance learning. Teachers are pulling their hair out. Parents have to have conference calls with their offices, and they have little ones. I pray for everybody with little ones because, Hunty, God knows what you can bear. My sister, her youngest one is 7, and they were on a distance learning call with the school during their regular class, and one of the little boys just was not paying attention. And the teacher was like, hello, like his name say was Tom. Tom, like, what's going on? You're not doing the work. He looked at 7 years old to the teacher and said, Miss, I just can't wrap my mind around this right now.
Wait, and then you have people, their pets that just want to bark at the wrong time, like they were completely quiet before they got on the Zoom. As soon as they got on, they wanted to be a part. So, I mean, we've been dealing with a lot of challenges.
It's a whole lot. So we just have to extend grace. But like that baby said, he just couldn't wrap his mind around it. There have been a lot of things that we've all had our moment on how we wrap around doing and still moving and still taking action. So we wanted to talk about some of the top lessons that we've learned in 2020. And here's some of yours. Hey, Steven. He said his cat is turned into a Zoom co-star. I love it because this cat will just walk on in like, oh, did they call for me?
that is funny. That is
You gotta love it. But
we got a cat for Christmas, by the way.
You got a cat?
I forgot to say my one the cat for Christmas, so we got her cat for Christmas. I'll have to let her come in one day.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I know.
But this is the kind of grace that we've been extending through this COVID period that I hope kind of keeps people flexible. People can see they can get work done from home. They're at home with their kids. They're at home with their pets. They're still on Zooms. They're still getting work done. So I really hope that flexibility stays for people and that they have different choices because we've been dealing with it. We've been putting up with it. We've been getting beyond it. So I really think that's a way that things can kind of stay for people, keeping that flexibility in place.
Absolutely. And I think that's the first lesson learned, right? When we're talking about the lessons learned in 2020 is extend grace and receive grace, because sometimes some folks don't know how to receive it and they're still working themselves up into anxiety fits and just not being like, no, extend and receive grace. Lesson number 1.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely.
You don't let it.
True. This is true.
Okay, so you all will be able to compare pet notes on cats. I don't need any other legs in my house to take care of, as my kids have been trying to convince me, oh, Ma, you want a dog. No, because no one's going to take care. No one's going to clean up. No one's going to walk. Yeah, no, not doing it.
Stacey, I would love to see the dog with, the freshly painted paws, the blue collar. I mean, I would love to see the diamonds on top of the ears. I would love to see it just to know that you're going to, boy or girl, the dog is going to be fabulous.
But look, that's where it stops. After that, it's responsibility. They still have to go out every single day.
Oh, Lord.
And look,
of
and
mercy.
unlike children, they don't really grow up and start doing things on their own. They still need care every single day. For me, it's a no.
Well, Elizanne, hello, darling. She said pets are fun. Okay, yep, that's another show. And Annette said the lessons learned in 2020, have a business plan. Absolutely, that's good. We've talked about that. And look, so many people have had to be forced entrepreneurs. They weren't necessarily thinking about entrepreneurship or owning a small business, but because they were furloughed on their job, because they didn't have the capacity to still create income in their traditional ways, they had to start thinking outside of the box. Like, how do I develop something right now to answer a need in the marketplace and to be able to produce some income for my household? And even if you did, some folks were like part-time hours. They were reduced. So they had to find something to do within the gap of time. So they created businesses. So writing a plan is essential. Thank you so much, Annette, for that. And
Yeah.
Elizan is still trying to convince me about the pets. Elizan, I'm not getting any pets.
And I want to say something about that business plan too, because a lot of times for a lot of entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs, Stephen, they get hung up on that business plan part because it can be daunting just thinking about all the things that really go into building a real business plan. And so a lot of times with my clients, I actually work on something that is a lot more condensed than the actual business plan. A lot of times, if you're not going for funding or certain types of, business entrepreneur funding from another source where you have to have a lot of different reporting, don't get hung up on the business plan. Make it a simple business plan. Just talk with yourself about how you plan to do business. Look at your marketing, who you plan to sell to, who you plan to service, those types of things, and put that together before you start being overwhelmed with a huge business plan. Just knowing how you're going to do business and what you plan to do is super important. So don't let that stop you from becoming an entrepreneur, just thinking about that business plan. It is definitely important to have, and you do need it, but don't let it stop you from getting your feet wet and becoming that entrepreneur.
Exactly. Steven said, plans are great, but execution is better, and figure out the first 5 steps and go. Absolutely. The one thing that I would say when you talk about truncating that down is a business summary, which answers all of the questions that you're saying. But one part of it, pay close attention, the revenue model. How are people going to pay you?
Absolutely.
Right? That's what you need to know. How are people going to pay you, and how is it sustainable? I didn't focus a lot on that earlier on in my journey because I was just so excited about giving the product or the service. But know what that revenue model is and test it. A business plan doesn't mean it's set in stone, that you can't change it, you can't adjust it. If it's not working and people aren't purchasing and it's not profitable, be nimble enough to be able to revise it, refine it. And that's where you invest in the additional support from business services, from coaches, from mentorship, from alliances, from programs like Weibo that will allow you to get that additional training and support so that you can have a profitable plan, no matter how many pages are in the business plan, because you can write a real great 50-page business plan and still be broke, right? So you have to execute and have a model that works.
Yes, and you can have a beautiful website. Remember, I tell the story, a beautiful website and not one product or client in the building. So you do not want to make those mistakes.
Exactly, because those are expensive mistakes. And we talk about the things that we want to shorten your learning curve on. But I know that, Serena, you've had quite a few lessons in 2020. Which one do you want to share today?
Well, I love where the business plan conversation is going. And the only thing I wanted to add to that was be prepared for the what ifs. And so, of course, even with me starting a new restaurant, which I've shared with you before, some of our ups and downs and our challenges, we never prepared for a pandemic. We never prepared for, a limiting capacity in a restaurant. We never prepared for, even though we are carry out, the idea that carry outs became the bread and butter of like the community. So we never prepared as much as we at one point sales were down. Then the next week sales were up by like 50, 75%. So prepare for the what if you're slow, but also prepare for the what if you're super duper crazy busy and how you handle that as well. And so anyways, but in terms of other lessons for 2020, I know for me, I'm grateful to be alive. I think I shared, if I haven't shared it with you all, my family, we did have COVID-19. And so the idea of knowing that this has taken out over 300,000 people, but somehow or another, God spared my life and I'm still here. It's a humbling experience. Of course, I'm grateful. But now, of course, I need to know what I have to do next. So no more procrastination for me. I feel like I'm on borrowed time. And so, I'm so grateful. Like literally, I don't say that just to, put out good words. I am literally grateful to be alive, that my children are not orphans, that at this point in time in my life, you guys are not flying in town to help clean out my house and to, bury me, so on and so forth. So grateful. I'm so grateful. And I will now live my life as if I'm on borrowed time, because the truth of the matter is we are all on borrowed time just because we feel healthy and we look healthy and things seem to be going well. But literally my husband and I both could have been down for the count. So live your life as, with gratitude, understand that you're on borrowed time, and literally go after your goals as if your life depends on them, because they do.
Absolutely.
Amen. Amen to that. That just had a shout in my spirit. I'm like,
mine too. I'm like over here, like, see, I'm gonna be quiet for 2 seconds because
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Woo! It's been
Yeah.
something, but yeah, your lesson, Tamara, because Serena, that's a lesson and a half, and it's so true. As I'm reflecting on what you said in regards to you and your husband, in regards to so many,
Mhm.
in my family and my extended family, like this is serious.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's a gift to be here. Therefore, the grace of God go all of us, and I don't take it for granted at all that we have this time and space, and that we can use social media in a way to add value
Mhm.
and to have conversations that uplift, help us to also think and to act on the things that we have. That was a sermon I listened to yesterday about the talents in a different way, and just the responsibility of using those talents and multiplying your gifts. So, girl, you just hit me as one of my
Yeah.
teamers would say in my shunda. All right, well, over to you, Tara.
One of the things that I will say that all of this really brought about for me is, we haven't been able to see our friends and do the things that we normally do. It really has brought back the art of checking on people, calling people on the phone. Yes, we have social media and we have video now. All of my kids, we can all get on one video call. But I really think that we have gone back to that social aspect of calling people, of checking on people, and being more intentional about that. And if anything, that's something that I'm definitely taking into 2021, because we got so busy that we weren't calling each other. We weren't really seeing each other the way that we should, maybe not appreciating the relationship. Sometimes you can take that for granted. Yes, I get to see my sisters every Monday, but were we really talking as much as we could and checking on each other like we have been since this year has been? I think a lot of people can attest to that. And that's something I'm definitely going to take into 2021 and beyond, because I like that. I like checking with people. I like being able to call people on a telephone again, not just seeing them on social media and liking the post. So I think that connection is back for a lot of people, and being able to check on people. Like, you don't know what people are going through. And this pandemic has brought out a lot for me, as seeing what other people are really going through. And
Mhm.
to just be compassionate and just be able to check on folks and reach out and see how people are really, really doing.
That's so true. And, mental health has
Uh,
always been something within our community that has been a stigma for some. People don't want to talk about the need to get support, and that it's not a crime or a scarlet letter if you're getting counseling. They're licensed individuals who are able to help you get through some of the tough times. Sometimes you need that extra support.
yeah.
I don't believe we were put on this earth to do life alone. Anybody that knows that, that's my mantra. Like, we do it together, and we get through it together, and utilize resources that are available for you when you're going through those hard times. And the lack of interacting, it's really affecting people. People who would otherwise consider themselves mentally stable are struggling
Yeah.
because they've been in isolation, because they haven't been able to see loved ones and family members. So it I look at this platform and all of the things that have launched as a result of 2020, thanks to Stephen calling me the Tyler Perry of Facebook. But this is my way of reaching out, of making sure that folks know that they're not alone, right? That we have this process to progress that we talk about every Monday, one ish on Dreams You Done, so that folks can understand they have some additional support out here. Just seeing someone's face can make a difference, hearing someone's voice, using social media for good. I always say that, right? I might not do all of the interactions and post the ads and reply to people and catch everyone's post the way you typically should, but if I catch it, I'm there, and I'm here more so building content and adding value in the marketplace, that we can interact, have fun together, do business together, make money together, and really show up in a way that we're making a dark situation brighter with our lights. And what you said is so true. Carrying that connection in to 2021 is very important. So, as we were talking about lessons, I'm like, Lord, there have been so many lessons in 2020. But I think for me, one of the main lessons is being okay with letting go of what doesn't serve you,
Mhm.
right? Being okay with letting go of what doesn't serve you, because there's sometimes we've been accustomed to doing certain things or showing up in certain places just because, but is it really serving and filling your spirit? Is it making you happy as a result, or is it laborious? I don't want to do too much of the laboring in 2021, right? I want things that things that lift my spirit, things that bring me joy, things that connect me with quality people, and I don't have to feel like my spirit is being confined or pressed or struggling to manage. Not in 2021. Maybe it's because this was a milestone birthday for me that my mouth is on hinges, and I just no, I'm not going to do it. Like it's just one of my lessons for 2021. Just being okay with letting go. It doesn't mean that it's a bad person or a bad situation necessarily. It just doesn't suit you for where you're going next.
Yeah.
And what it is that you're elevating to. Because I feel every time we're granted a new year around the sun, as they say, it's a new opportunity to grow and learn from the lessons. And some of the things that served you up until this point will not carry you to your next point. So
Yeah.
that's my lesson.
And that's a good one. And even taking that into a business setting, and one of you, I can't even remember just a few minutes ago who actually made this point too, but being able to be nimble enough to know when something's not working in business and how to let it go. There were some things that I had to let go of this year that, you get very used to your own ideas. You fall in love with them, you get used to them, and you love them. And if it's not the best or it's not what you should be doing right now, sometimes we hang on to even that. And so that just made me think from a business standpoint that even some of those things you have to let go. It doesn't mean you can't never do it. It may mean you need to put it over here for a little while and bring it back when the time is right. But even in business, you have to let some things go that are not working or not serving you or moving that business forward where you want it to go. And we get so, I know I do. I fall so in love with ideas like, oh my God, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. And you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them sometimes. And so that just made me think about that, because we will hang on to something and try to cut that puzzle piece to make it fit, when sometimes it's really just you need to let it go or to put it on hold until it is the right time to bring it to fruition.
Know when to walk away, know when to run.
Wait a minute, know when to run. That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Indeed. Don't let me start singing. My mama had me listen to country music, and the Jamaicans listen to country music. Imagine that. But that's what we did. And I want to shout out Stephen, who said that he does therapy every month. This is his third time in therapy. See, I thank you for just sharing that publicly. So we normalize the fact that it's okay to go out and to seek therapeutic help. Like, hello, especially in 2020.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do it without support. Our faith grounds us. I have access to therapists because of the things that I do, but don't be afraid to go and get help.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to go and get help. Don't try to do it.
To get help and to use your resources. Therapy is there as a resource. And, I don't even understand where the stigmatism comes from when you use your resources. That is what we do. No one looks at you negative when you go to the doctor to see what's wrong with you. If you got an ailment or something's hurting, you go to the doctor. I mean, I've never just been that person who looked at it like, okay, that's a weakness. That's that. If you need it, you go get it and be glad that you have it available as a resource. Like, that is how I look at it. And I don't see anything wrong with people using their resource. It's here for a reason. Therapy would not be a profession if it was not something that was necessary.
Well, I'll be honest now. My husband and I think we've been very vocal. We've gone to marital counseling. We've done all those things. And I'll be honest, we had a good counselor. And that lady read me. And I had to sit in my chair like, okay. Do I fight you now or do I fight you in the parking lot? Like, if we're honest, we don't like to be told about ourselves. However, we were both so happy and so glad that we did go so that we can see what some of our issues were and, where some of the things stem from. For me, many of you all know my father's Les Brown. So one of the things is, that we communicate strongly. If we get in an argument, it's not just an argument and we say, screw you. No, we're bringing scriptures, quotes, statistics. We're bringing all of those things. I thought everyone argued like that. I thought everyone had a disagreement like that. And so if my husband and I had an issue and I would say, well, prove it. And he's like, what do you mean prove it? I just, I would tell him he didn't have a valid argument because he didn't have nothing to back it up with. In other words, I can tell you that don't nobody like to be told about themselves, but it is indeed freeing. It has certainly helped with both our relationship, my personal life, and my professional life. And so I am grateful that we went to counseling. I'm grateful for therapy. But I will say no one really likes to be told about themselves because we get stuck on the idea that we're fine and everyone else, everyone else has their own issues, but it's not me. It's not me.
I could just hear you channeling your father. Never tell a story without making a point, and never make a point without telling a story.
Isn't that so funny? How our environment and stuff affects how we think about things and how we approach it. I couldn't think of anything else. If you grew up in a house with a preacher, you probably got a story with 3 points. Like, it's just so hilarious to think of how that environment shapes you. So just hearing that just made me laugh.
Oh yeah, honestly, my poor husband. Like, people say poor Will, and there are times I'm like, dang, poor Will. But oh well,
we here now.
That is so funny.
And what's so funny when we talk about environment and lessons learned and how our kids watch what we do more than they listen to what we say, right? I think every parent on this broadcast or every person on this broadcast, you're a child too, and you know how you treated your parents. Just know that grandchildren, that's karma, right? That's karma coming back. Because my youngest, he's so good at it. When I'm angry and I'm like, boy, and I'm ready to go in, he will de-escalate me so fast. Like, he has learned his mother's knack of de-escalation. And I'm like, don't you de-escalate me. I'm not finished yet.
Yes, they will use that stuff right against you. Use your own stuff against you. I told my daughter one day, like, you are really trying to steal all my stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure you got all of that from me.
But those are the lessons that flow over, and it really makes you smile when people around you, especially your family, that's your first ministry. That's the first work that you're doing, that they can get it, that they can understand. My husband likes to tell everybody, I'm the first graduate of DDU. Okay. So he tried to throw stuff on me too. I'm like, these folk up in this house. But those are the things that can make us smile as we go through the journey, that there's so much that we've learned. And I want everyone listening to know your lessons aren't just for you. It's for the people that you're here to touch. It's for the audiences that you're already predestined to serve. It's for the community that you're going to impact. That's why you go through the lessons, so that you can share it and not be shy about it. We talk about Dream, Do, Done as a process, right? You have to start with a dream. Some people forgot how to dream. Yeah. And I think in COVID, they're realizing, like, whoa, I need to go scratch off and blow the dust off of that journal and start going back to the things that I really love and start doing something. So every week we impart on you something for you to actually do and take action. We're all action focused. We're results driven, so that once you get it done, you can celebrate it. And you have our journal to help you through 2021 be able to map out and measure your results, because at the end of the day, that's what matters when we talk about process to progress.
Yeah. And the one thing that I so appreciate about not only Dream, Do, Done and what we bring to the show, that transparency. Stacey just said your lessons are for you to share with others. And a lot of times when things happen to us, we fail in business or this doesn't work out, we want to hold that stuff, and we don't want anybody to see that because we don't want to seem imperfect or like we don't have it all together. But that's really part of the whole process, and not being scared to share that. I mean, if you watch this show, I don't care from the very beginning. If you just watched it last week, this show is very transparent about not only our lives and our business, but even our family. Even what Serena just said about the therapy, like those are conversations that we've had that, have been funny along the way, and why we get along so well with each other. And it makes you feel better to know that you're not by yourself. And that's what we're really sharing with some of this stuff. You're not by yourself. You are going through a process. We're going through a process. We're sharing our process. We're sharing the lessons we learned so that we can just help you along that journey. And that's what this is really about. And you have to be in a place where that stuff doesn't embarrass you, but actually moves you and helps others.
Absolutely. And that help is what we provide with our masterclass for those who are ready to take the conversation off of one ish on a Monday and really go into a process, right? Getting that clarity, the focus, the action, and then sustaining it. Because it's one thing to start. A lot of people can't sustain the momentum because they're not able to be consistent. And that consistency will beat talent any day, right? So if you can get out here and you can build up that stamina, that track record, it helps put you in a position for you to win. And that's ultimately what you want. You know, when I think about the 10,000 hours of mastery that all three of us have put in, you know, Malcolm Gladwell talks about that, right? Like there's certain things you can't test us on because we've been doing it, right? Not yesterday. We didn't just wake up in 2019 or 2018. You know, as my new thing is, I'm going to show my receipts. I haven't always been good with showing my receipts, but I'm going to show my receipts, right? I'm not new to this. It has been a while. And if you can build that stamina, you fix the things that need correcting along the way. You straighten up the areas that might not be perfect. You start to scale the ideas that started small but are now moving into a whole nother level. So dream big, set goals, and take action with us at dreamdodone.com. So we are grateful for the opportunity to share that with you. And you also have the chance to go ahead and grab our journal. So if you're not ready for the masterclass, you're like, I just need to put my little toe in the water and swirl it around. Well, then you get the Dream Do Done journal so it can start helping you along the way to produce the results that you desire. So dreamdodone.com. We want to shout out all of you who have purchased. We keep shouting out Stephen because he did more than one. He bought like 5 or 6 and gave them out as gifts. And I appreciate that investment. We want to highlight when you're able to make an investment. A lot of people just want to continue to consume for free. But if you're in business and you want people to purchase from you, what are you purchasing from others? How are you recycling dollars within our community so that we can sustain these businesses, so that post COVID-19, we don't have the record number of closures on Black businesses and particularly women of color? Like the stats are staggering and alarming. So we really want to make sure that we're doing our part to keep the doors open, because every small business that's open is another opportunity to employ more people in the community and to help the economy. Everything is connected. So I really hope that we're intentional on not only learning the lessons from 2020, but being prepared to implement more in 2021.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to my co-hosts for them to share their final thoughts as the time flies when you're having fun with Dream Do Done. I can hear rapping.
And ladies and gentlemen, this has been so much fun as always. To believe that we're coming to the end of 2020 with so many lessons. I mean, we only highlighted 3, but there are so many other lessons that, you know, I think all of us have had. But I want to stress that gratitude is super duper important. Connection. I mean, I love what Tamara Hartley said about connection. Connecting not only just to make sure to each other that we're okay, but connecting to also brainstorm and to develop other ideas and other businesses and other business models that could potentially make you money. And I love Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant. Know when to walk away, boo. Know when to walk away. That might be my favorite one. But nonetheless, I love each and every one of you. As you all know, I love you all. And so I so appreciate all the lessons we've learned. And we made it. We made it. We made it. We made it. We're still alive. We've made it. And we're still in our right mind. And so 2020, looking back, it was challenging, but it was not as bad as we thought it was. So there is no throw away the year. Not at all. There's so many lessons, so many victories that we still have. Certainly, there were losses and things that, you know, shook us to the core, but we are still here and we are loving each other and pulling each other together. And that is what friendship and everything is all about. So we love you. Happy New Year. I'll turn it over to Tamara so we can go ahead and cue up the B flat on the organ. Go ahead, sis.
I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday season. Hope you have a safe and happy New Year. I cannot wait to see you in 2021 and to just see what you have planned for the year. I'm excited about it. I'm excited what we're doing. I'm excited where we're going. I'm excited about some of the projects and things that we are going to unveil in 2021. And I can't wait to see you all there. So enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe. And we'll see you next year.
just Happy New Year, right? By the
Happy
time
New
we see
Year.
each other, it'll be a new year. God spare our lives. We don't take anything for granted. That's what my grandmother used to always say.
Yes.
But this has definitely been a blessing. I love you, ladies. We'll
Love
see
you
you on
too.
the other side.